Hello, this is Tyler from Tyler Revolution here on YouTube, as you might know since you're on this page and watching this video. I put the Tyler in Tyler Revolution. Don't ask about the name, it was politically motivated, maybe a little bit personally motivated to revolute myself, which is not a word. But here I am, um, my second recording of Civilization 6. Today is Monday, so when you see this, I don't know. Um, Since the last recording, um, a lot has fast forwarded, mainly because I've tried two recordings earlier today. The first one, it did not save. The second one, I hacked in the middle of after having a sip of coffee go down the wrong way. And then I feel like that might be the great thing to have on the video with the volume turned up. So that's why we're here. So we've progressed now to 1600 BC on turn 61. At 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time in the great state of South Carolina. A lot of things have happened because we had to fast forward, mainly because of my screw-ups. So you're welcome. So just recently, the era has changed. We've grown out of the ancient era into the new era, and I achieved the golden age. So this is where I'm at right now. And my advisor has told me the time has come to choose which of our accomplishments to commemorate in our history. This will inspire our people to continue to press forward towards the path of my choosing.
History marches forward, and the world has entered a new era. We may see a golden age or a dark age in our civilization's future, born from the actions of our recent past.
So if you're not familiar with Civilization, and Civ 6 is your only, or these videos might be your only exploration into it, because, you know, for whatever reason, you like me. You really like me. Um, Golden Ages were actually sparked in previous, and even in Civ 6, sparked by um, great people, prophets, builders, engineers, scientists, things of that nature. That's the only way you can really get a golden age. You unlock one of those great people. You can use them to build something, advance research, and sometimes you can spark them, use them to spark the golden age. And Civilization 6, that's how it was until a recent update fall and rise and fall. Or, yeah, what it was called. I might be wrong about that. Let me check real quick. Um, Yes, sorry. So Rise and Fall came out earlier this year. Having a brain fart, it happens. Um, you would think someone who plays this game quite a lot would not have a problem with that. It happens. So that's a new thing that came with Rise and Fall is not only are there golden ages, there are normal ages, and there are dark ages, depending on how your civilization has gone in the very recent past. And you have to build up and do things like that.
All
So
the
we'll continue.
world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
So the other thing I've been doing in the previous recordings that have failed is there are quotes like this from people, and I have a tendency to I want to go back and look at who said them, their history, and things like that. Especially if they're not known very well to me. If they're very well known, I'm not gonna do too much, like this. This is William Shakespeare. We all know who William Shakespeare is. I love William Shakespeare. Which was always a bane on my existence in high school because everyone else found it boring and I found it intriguing. He didn't understand what he was saying. I understood some of what he was saying, but the nuances certainly not because I was very young. Now, very, very into those nuances. So look at change policies of the civic, literary tradition, I'm not going to really change anything yet with government. And so this is my English Empire making history. So we go back to around where the last video started. Um, I got um, a pantheon because this numinous moment be what those other prophets were talking about. That's 2760 BC. When we go into the rulers of Buenos Aires bound to England, who became their first suzerain in the world. I sent an envoy there to give them, and they gave me their loyalty, apparently. In 2080 BC, at the deliberations, Simon Peter chose to bring their talents to England, and that was followed. That actually followed um, of Stonehenge being built in the city of London, and then I used Simon Peter to found the world's first religion. It is said that when Simon Peter founded Catholicism, the world's first religion, the sun broke through the clouds, and a sweet scent filled the air. Um, and of course, Simon Peter is Saint Peter. If you're for whatever reason not familiar, I am a little bit, but I'm not a great at scripture, things like that, so I don't know. So, like I said, this is one of the things where I usually do a little bit of quick Wikipedia research. I'm not going to delve into too much. I know Wikipedia isn't a great resource, but for quick little burps, you can go with it. Um, so, Simon Peter, according to the New Testament, was one of 12 apostles of Jesus Christ, leaders of the early Christian Great Church. And it said Pope Gregory I called him repeatedly the Prince of the Apostles. According to Catholic teaching, Jesus promised Peter in the Rock of My Church dialogue in Matthew 16:18 a special position in the Church. He is traditionally counted as the first bishop of Rome or Pope, and also by Eastern Christian tradition as the first patriarch of Antioch. The ancient Christian churches all venerate Peter as a major saint and as the founder of the Church of Antioch and the Roman Church, but differ in their attitudes regarding the authority of his present-day successors. The Rock of My Church dialogue, as I will read to you, little thing here from the Douay Rheims Bible, which is what Wikipedia has on that. And it says, I say to thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Um, yeah, so that's a little bit of that. And of course, the story that Wikipedia points out. The New Testament indicates that Peter's father's name was John, or Jonah, and was from the village of Bethsaida, in the province of Galilee, or Gaulantitis. His brother Andrew was born an apostle. According to the New Testament accounts, Peter was one of 12 apostles chosen by Jesus from his first disciples. Originally a fisherman, he played a leadership role and was with Jesus during events witnessed by only a few apostles, such as the Transfiguration. According to the Gospels, Peter confessed Jesus as the Messiah, was part of Jesus' inner circle, thrice denied Jesus, and wept bitterly once he realized his deed, and preached on the day of Pentecost. Just a little bit of Wikipedia biblical history, um, if you want it to be interested. I'm not here to preach the Bible. I'm not that guy. But I love still learning little facets that some of this I know, some of this I don't know. And some of you may know, some of you may not know. I'm a history major, but I do not focus on everything. And even growing up, some of it, some not. I'm learning. May think I'm stupid. But this makes it a little more interesting, I think, just to put out information. Um, then classical era began. That was 1600 BC, which was just now. Our expression of drama and poetry would define humanity's future in the classical era. And there we go. And my scout is, so I'm going to make a dedication. So, current age of civilization. I'm a normal age during game era, each of your, okay, continue. So I'm going to make a dedication for the classical era. Because you're under normal age, you may make one dedication. So I guess I did not enter golden age. Want to do free inquiry? Okay. Well, not yet in a golden age, um, but did pretty well in a normal age. Did not get the 26, I believe. And I'm still running away from these damn barbarians. So that's sort of what's going on. The other things that have taken on some shape, India conquered Jerusalem, so Jerusalem is now under India's power. I built a trader who is now building a road between London and Leeds. And of course, Stonehenge was built. If you want to look at a beautiful Stonehenge, there it is. I love the rendering. I love the way this game plays. I'm playing pretty good, graphics. And that's about all that's changed. I met Saladin. I met the Arabian Empire. So even fast forwarding about 1,000 years, aka a few turns, nothing's changed all that much. Um, I'm going to choose a civic. I'm going to go, of course, now choose political philosophy. And next turn. We're going to do the thing. And my scout is dead. Unfortunately. Another times of chanting, incense and icon, the holy site of London bring worshippers and pilgrims into contemplation of the higher matters. 1560 BC. So, and then he's over here, next to this mountain, and next to Mount, I believe it's Mount Ramea, Mount Ramea. Once again, speech impediment, and I'm not great at pronouncing things. So I'm sorry to anybody's mountain that is. I'm not the smartest man in the world. But anyway, built my holy site over there. So that's my first holy site that I built. Choose productions, and I am actually, and I'll go ahead and build. I'm gonna build the pyramids, or try to anyway, and we'll build it over here, and see if we can build it first. I got one more turn before sailing is finished, and next turn. See what's going on.
It isn't just our lands that can be improved, but our waters as well. I suggest we search for opportunities to exploit the resources along the shores.
It is not that life ashore is distasteful to me, but life at sea is better.
And so that was Sean Bean quoting Sir Francis Drake. And if you don't know, like I said, this is what I've been doing. So Sir Francis Drake was born circa 1540, died January 28th, 1596. So didn't live that long, but for his time, sure. He was an English sea captain, a privateer, slave trader, naval officer, and explorer of the Elizabethan era. Drake carried out the second circumnavigation of the world in a single expedition from 1577 to 1580, and was the first to complete the voyage as captain while leading the expedition throughout the entire circumnavigation. With his excursion into the Pacific Ocean, he claimed what is now California with the English and inaugurated an era of conflict with the Spanish on the western coast of the Americas, an area that had previously been largely unexplored by Western shipping. So that's he's also so he's involved in the Anglo-Spanish War and the Battle of Gravelines or Gravelines. Um, it was a small part of Gravelines was Empire of Flanders in the Spanish Netherlands. So probably not Gravelines. It's just spelled that way. Um, Elizabeth the First Awarded Drake a knighthood in 1581, which he received on the Golden Hind in Deptford. As a vice admiral, he was second in command of the English fleet in the battle against the Spanish Armada in 1588. He died of dysentery in January 1596 after unsuccessfully attacking San Juan, Puerto Rico. Drake's exploits made him a hero to the English, but his privateering led the Spanish to brand him a pirate, known to them as El Drake. I guess. Tricky. Anyway, King Philip II allegedly offered a reward for his capture or death of 20,000 ducats, about £6 million in modern currency. So that is a little blurb on Francis Drake. Um, and like I hope this, and one of my hopes is putting out the information there that will spark interesting historical conversation and research for anyone else, or just pique anyone's interest. So that's another reason why I love playing this game. It piqued my interest in history and ideas and things like that, and governments and politics and economics. So I'm hoping doing this helps pique someone else's interest and maybe get them also, because I believe all of these things are very important for the future. Knowing history, knowing economics, knowing the history of knowing all that um, is critical. Um, and this is not going to be a platform for any politicizing. Just, I wanted to be a teacher, um, and this might be one way to do that. Through playing Civilization 6 and kind of teaching um, what I know, what I can research real quick. Like I said, maybe not even just Wikipedia, but just kind of getting it started, and even hopefully setting up comment sections, of course, for anyone else who's interested in that conversation, hopefully respectfully. No, no anger or anything like that, but that would be really, really cool. One of the things I hope for. So I'm going to choose my next research, and I'm going to go with bronze working. Once you get kind of a little bit behind, I try to do once I get a little bit behind, I try to do the less turns first before voting up, sort of get the pre-era stuff um, researched, and then move on. So next turn. See what's going on.
My liege, we are beginning to attract the attention of the great people of the world. Of course, there are other leaders vying for their attention too.
All right.
The more specialized districts we construct, the more we will draw in specialized great people to share their talents with our civilization. I advise that we continue to build these.
I will. So give me 1 second. I'm going to take a small break in this recording. I'm going to go ahead and press the next turn. Hopefully, the recording does not stop this time.
opportunity has arrived for a change into a new and more powerful system of government. Let us strengthen our identity and enact more policies to govern our people.
Alright, sorry about the break. I'm actually in the middle of this video doing some laundry. So by the time the next load finishes, I'll be finished with this. Um, and I live in an apartment complex, so I have to use a communal washer and dryer in my bedroom. My one bedroom apartment does not have a washer and dryer connection. And I came across a lizard. And little one, enough where he got a little feisty, tried to bite me. Didn't do anything. I thought about adopting him. Probably not the right choice, but he was cute, and I love lizards. Anyway, with a few more turns, it's time to upgrade my government.
Politics is the art of the possible, the attainable, the art of the next best.
So, that quote coming from Otto van Bismarck, Otto von Bismarck, sorry. Um, Actually, his name was, if you want to know, his real name was Otto Eduard Leopold, Prince of Bismarck and Duke of Lauenburg. I don't know my German. He was born April 1st, 1815, and died July 30th, 1898. Known as Otto von Bismarck. He was a conservative Prussian statesman who dominated German and European affairs from the 1860s until 1890, and was the first chancellor of the German Empire between 1871 and 1890. While he was in office, the monarchs was Wilhelm I, Frederick III, and Wilhelm II. Um, so, interesting tidbits. In 1862, King Wilhelm I appointed Bismarck as Minister-President of Prussia, a position he would hold until 1890 with the exception of a short break in 1873. He provoked 3 short, decisive wars against Denmark, Austria, and France. Following the victory against Austria, he abolished the supranational German Confederation and instead formed the North German Confederation as the first German national state in 1867, leading it as its first chancellor. That's of course all from Wikipedia, of course. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to go too deep into um, Google to research, I guess you would say, more concrete bound research, or at least you know more, I guess, um, academic research, as it were. So this is quick little blurbs of information, like I said previously, and like I said, that to me is interesting. So the other thing that's interesting, and I actually mentioned this the other night to a coworker. So a lot of clamoring today is about national health insurance and national health care. So the first move towards a national health insurance system was launched in Germany in 1883 with the sickness insurance law. Um, this was, of course, done under Bismarck. And was later established in the UK and Russia. So that's sort of thing, and that's not necessarily, um, there's various different ways to talk about universal health care and things like that, universal coverage. But that's one of the things that Bismarck is known for. Um, and I remember learning that about that in one of my history classes with the last little factoid. To see if I can find any more quick information, because that was something that was interesting to me, but I don't want to take up too much time looking at it. So this is what this says. Germany has the world's oldest national social health insurance system, with origins dating back to Otto von Bismarck's social legislation, which included the Health Insurance Bill of 1883, Accident Insurance Bill of 1884, and the Old Age and Disability Insurance Bill of 1889. Bismarck stressed the importance of three key principles: solidarity, the government is responsible for ensuring access by those who need it; subsidiarity, policies are implemented with the smallest no political administrative influence; and corporatism, the government representative bodies in healthcare professions set out procedures they deem feasible. Um, Mandatory health insurance originally applied only to low-income workers and certain government employees, but has gradually expanded to cover the great majority of the population. So that's what I was saying. Like, so interesting thing about Otto von Bismarck, from that, just looking up him from the quote, is you get an idea of who this guy was, and what he's done. Um, and I think, like I said, that's important. Anyway, so I'm gonna now, after the spiel, go to unlock a new government. So this era allows me to do autocracy, oligarchy, and classical republic. So the autocracy gives me those slots: two military, one economic, and then a freebie. Um, and one plus to all yields for each government building and palace in a city, and 2% production toward wonders. An oligarchy gives me one military, one economics. Oh, I can't remember what that one is. And then a freebie. We'll look at that. Let's see. It's diplomatic. So there you go. One diplomatic, and then a freebie, which could also be one of the wall cards. Um, I guess all land melee, anti-cavalry, and naval melee class units gain +4 combat strength and a 20% experience. And then the Classic Republic gives you two economics, no military, uh, one diplomatic, and then a freebie, which could be a military. All cities in this district receive 1 plus housing and 1 plus amenity, and 15% great person points. So I always typically choose Classical Republic, because that's what I believe in and think, and that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna change it up on the recording just yet. Maybe next time I play through here, I'll do some changes. So I'm gonna do it the way I usually do it, and maybe later we'll do a different playthrough. So I'm gonna do Classical Republic. Continue switch. For now, no military policies are provided for slots provided by this government, but economic policies I already have one that I like, so I am going to add another one. And what I usually do is I usually do the caravan series or the urban planning to add those two. So that's actually what I won't do is the urban planning. Diplomatically, I usually do charismatic leader, which is 2 plus influence points per turn towards earning city state envoys. And then my wild card, I typically will throw in a military one, um, or another economic one, but this one I'll do. Um, so we'll see. Actually, I'm going to throw in another economic one, caravan series. And yeah. And you can change them anytime you want to. It costs a little bit of gold, I think, but otherwise, you can change them. So, 1400 BC, England adopts the government by classical republic, leading to a new political age for the citizens. And I'm going to choose a new subject to research. And I'm going to go to theology and choose a new production for leads. And I'm actually going to build ancient walls, considering India now has Jerusalem and closing in, kind of, want to protect myself from any Indian aggression that could happen. And it's weird because you wouldn't think it. Previous, I don't know if they were glitches or stuff in previous civilizations, but Mahatma uh, Gandhi tend to be a little more aggressive than you expected. And that was a kind of a meme that later on played. So um, just thought that'd be interesting. By the way, if you're interested in knowing why the circle was here, I was building the Hanging Gardens and someone stole it, and now I'm building the pyramids down here, which I've already built Stonehenge as I previously mentioned. So we're gonna go to the next turn. And we'll wait. Something you can zoom out. If you have it wide open, sometimes you can see everybody doing what they're doing. Sometimes you don't. Um, by the way, I haven't looked, but like Zanzibar has a quest for me, so they have. So like I said maybe in the last video, your city states can give you quests and tasks you complete to get full influence. So they want me to construct the government plaza, and that's my plan. As soon as I finish the pyramids here, I'll build my government plaza in my capital city. Um, I have scouts from Arabia, the Arabian civilization, and they vanished. You see some warriors moving up there from the Zanzibar city-state. Hong Kong is over there to your left. You can also look at what their quest is, which is training a galley. First, I need to build a settlement down here on the coast, really, to make that effective. I'll wait until I get there to build a new settler. That's what I'm going to do as soon as the pyramids finish, or if someone finishes before me, I'll switch over to that. So kind of stuck in this place. I don't want to send any of my warriors out to explore. Don't want to lose them. With kind of India encroaching a little bit.
I'm also interested in creating a lasting legacy, because bronze will last for thousands of years.
So you look it up. There's a quote that Sean Bean read by Richard MacDonald. Um, Richard MacDonald is a California-based contemporary figurative artist known for his bronze sculptures and association with Cirque du Soleil. Um, he's still alive, a little bit in Pasadena, California, Wikipedia says. But he's an artist, a sculptor of monuments, and like I said, working with bronze, which hence this quote. Um, Here's my next research, and we'll go with a currency, because I do love currency. And we'll click next. I don't know what that ominous sound was, but we'll find out, I guess. City-state was taken over. Once again, I don't really take aggression towards the city-states. I like to work with them um, rather than uh, attack them. I like to keep them incorporated. But you also run the chance of the more you kind of build up, the more you become popular. You can make some of these cities become free cities with your culture. Some of them might actually choose to be with you instead. Um, and that's always interesting. Need more housing and leads. Sorry, I'm building walls real quick. Gotta defend, gotta protect. Um,
Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun.
Uh, coach by quote by Alan W. Watts. Alan Wilson Watts was an American philosopher who interpreted and popularized Eastern philosophy for Western audience. He was born in England. He moved to the United States in 1938 and began Zen training in New York. Pursuing a career, he attended Seabury Western Theological Seminary, where he received a master's degree in theology. Watts became an Episcopal priest in 1945, then left the ministry in 1950 and moved to California, where he joined the faculty of the American Academy of Asian Studies. That's who he was. That's where that quote comes from. If you're interested in knowing a little bit about Alan W. Watts, um, so, and then I don't like scripture. I don't really bother. I like the way I have it. Choose Civic, and I'm going to do games and recreation. And I'll send a new envoy. And I'll actually send it to Hong Kong, because they're pretty close. Different placement. Then I have an envoy with Hong Kong. And we'll go to my next turn. And then an envoy to send. So I will, and I will also send that to Hong Kong. And the next turn here, real quick. So that's usually this game, and I don't want to talk through the whole thing sometimes, so it's very hard to find everything to talk about. Because sometimes you do a lot of turns, you're not doing anything worth noting. Let me see, I have up here 11 plus research per turn, 11.4 culture. My phase is 139, 35.9. That's 5.2 per turn. My gold per turn is right now 10.5 gold per turn. I got a little bit of tourism, which is interesting. Uh, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to zoom into my town a little bit. You see the town has changed since the last time I zoomed in, if I did it in this video or not. I'm now in the classical era of town, so it looks a little more, classical. I'll just see the pyramids being built. I got 3 more turns before they're finished. It's just a simple.
Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants.
So, Epictetus, or Epictetus maybe? Yeah, Epictetus was a Greek Stoic philosopher. Um, he was born a slave at Hierapolis, uh, Phrygia, present-day Pamukkale, Turkey. Once again, don't begrudge me about the pronunciations. Not my strong point. And he lived in Rome until his banishment, when he went to Nicopolis, Nicopolis, in northwestern Greece for the rest of his life. His teachings were written down and published by his pupil Arian in his discourses and in Chiridion. Once again, do not begrudge me uh, pronunciations. I'm not an expert at that. Plus, with a speech impediment, pronouncing words are hard to get, so let's just remember that. He taught that philosophy is a way of life and not just a theoretical discipline. To Epictetus, all external events are beyond our control. We should accept calmly and dispassionately whatever happens, like a Stoic. However, individuals are responsible for their own actions, which they can examine and control through rigorous self-discipline. He was born in 55 AD. The name his parents gave him is unknown. The word Epictetus in Greek simply means gained or acquired. The Greek philosopher Plato, in his Laws, uses the term as property that is added to one's hereditary property. He spent his youth as a slave in Rome to Aphroditos, a wealthy freedman and secretary to Nero. Um, so that's who he is. That's where he kind of came from. Um, and he began to teach philosophy in Rome. He actually attained his freedom sometime after the death of Nero in 68 AD. Taught philosophy in Rome, but about 93 AD, Emperor Domitian, or yeah, let's go with that, banished all philosophers from the city. That's where he went to Nicopolis in Imperious Greece, where he founded the philosophical school. So yeah, so that's and this is interesting to me because I love philosophy. I love learning about it, um, and knowing more about even the philosophers I don't know, even especially the older ones, the Stoics and things like that. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna get. I don't want to get into all of it. Um, so it's just go back, go look at it. I'll read a little bit. This is from Wikipedia also. Um, just a quick quote from him as well, both the discourses and the Enchiridion begin by distinguishing between those things and our power. This what this that alone is in our power, which is our own work, and in this class are our opinions, impulses, desires, and aversions. What, on the contrary, is not in our power are our bodies, possessions, glory, and power. Any delusion on this point leads to the greatest errors, misfortunes, and troubles, and to the slavery of the soul. We have no power over external things, and the good that ought to be the object of our earnest pursuit is to be found only within ourselves. Um, so yeah, so that's a quick little glimpse into Epictetus um, and that quote. Once again, I find it fascinating. So you see in 1040 BC, many dispute the actual start of the classical era, that you know it was England, but you know it was when England discovered currency. So I'll choose my next research, which let's go to let's do ironworking. Um, I wonder. I'm not gonna spend all my gold on a builder just yet. Actually, I will. I'm gonna go ahead and buy a builder. I need to advance some of that going on because I haven't been building. I'm gonna send my builder out to the trigger. I'm gonna choose reproduction and leads. And leads we're going to build. I'm actually gonna build a settler first before I do anything there. Probably send to the south. Actually, no. Since the pyramid's almost finished, I'm gonna do what they recommend. I'm gonna actually build a campus. Or see if there is. We can build a commercial hub right here. Build my first commercial hub in my empire.
From the height of these pyramids, 40 centuries look down on us.
And ta-da! I built the pyramids, which is just so cool to build the wonders. I love it. And of course, that quote from the famous Napoleon Bonaparte. Um, we all know who Napoleon is. For the most part, little quick facts about him: born August 15th, 1769, died May 5th, 1820. Of course, a French statesman and military leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and led several successful campaigns during the French Revolutionary Wars. As Napoleon, he was Emperor of the French from 1804 until 1814, and again briefly in 1815 during the Hundred Days. Um, so that's a quick. I'm not going to go too deep into Napoleon. I think we all know, whoever reads this, who Napoleon was. But real quick, he was coronated in Notre Dame Cathedral, December 2nd, 1804. His successor later was Louis the 18th. Um, Basically twice. And also at the time he was also King of Italy, protector of the Confederation of the Rhine, first consul of France, and things like that. And I always find that interesting about the French Revolution, considering they revolted, and they wanted to build this nation, this free nation, and quickly found their way back under an emperor. And it gave me a builder, so I could have waited. But look at that, the pyramids. There's this little lake too in the desert. Interesting, but it's just so cool. I love it. And I've got a builder, and we can send him over here to do the round up some horses. I'll get my sugar plantation going on over here, or sugar farm, whatever we're going to use. Production now for. I'm gonna go ahead and build my government plaza real quick. Build it right here. No one cares. It's a 5-turn kind of a thingy. Rumor has it that Arabia has founded a new religion, Islam. That's fitting. Sometimes it works out that way. Like I can't do Anglican. I guess I could have, but um, and so 975 BC, standing in the pyramids, the citizens of London remember the glorious past. 950 BC, visitors speak in awe of London, the largest city in the world. How do so many people live together in peace? That's what they call this cool thing. You can look at world rankings, um, so you can see kind of who's leading where and when. Only thing I'm leading in right now is cultural victory. So sometimes I don't know if you still can. Usually you could actually, sometimes I forget how to look at a lot of things. So London, toggle city details. You can see, how that's going. So, new unit needs orders. And I guess since I now have expanded, I will go over here and do this rice as well. I'm gonna round me up some horses, and now I have horses for horseback riding when I unlock it. And on to the next turn.
لن أقبل بتدنيس الأرض. سيعاقبك الله على كفرك وعصيانك وحده الكامل العزيز.
Well, I'm sorry. Let's see. The other thing I could do is faith. Um, however, can't do anything with that. Um, all these things have been going on. So I built that. I'm gonna run over here to the leads area. Use one of the builds on. I'm gonna need some milk, as it were. Still got my stone resource. May not need the other stone resources. Yeah. But I now have me cow. So I got that. I got me some more rice. The one thing you do want to do is to have multiple resources, of course, built. Not only for the good of your civilization and your cities, but also for trading. So I'll actually show that a little bit. So let me go to. I'm gonna go to Saladin. So far, you look at our inventory report overview. No gossip, none accident, well, in mutual relationship. He's actually good friends with Indian Empire and the Chinese Empire. Um, nothing. Nothing going on. Got unknown reasons for why. It's just neutral, so nothing bad. I'm gonna send a delegation to him for 25% gold and say goodbye to that, and see if we can make a deal. So see on luxury. I have sugar. He has incense, but you see, I notice he has 3 incense. But it means he has 3 resources of it. He can give what he can want. He can give one of them for 30 turns. What would it take? I could do it for 12 gold per turn plus one immediately. I'm not going to do that at this moment, but gives you an idea, a quick idea before the video ends of how that works. And I don't make too many. I need to do more trade deals. That's one weak point of my game. Um, this is my gold currently is 12 per turn. Basically, I don't want to lose that income just yet um, until I can get a higher amount of gold per turn. So you got to always do what's best for your civilization, even if you want a resource. That's why I'm hoping to build a settler. I'm going to build a settler after this government district that I need to expand. It's not an
People
BC
who
and not two
cannot find
cities.
time for recreation are sooner or later to find time for illness.
So we'll look at this now. John Wanamaker um, was born July 11th, 1838, died December 12th, 1922. He was an American merchant and religious, civic, and political figure, considered by some to be a proponent of advertising and a pioneer in marketing. He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and served as U.S. Postmaster General. Interesting enough. Um, so that is who he was a little bit. Once again, all these little factoids are coming from Wikipedia. I'm not doing any deep academic research or anything like that, but um, just to give watchers a little bit of a historical background of who these guys are, who these quotes are coming from, rather than just simply um, letting you go on. Um, one thing Wanamaker did when he was Postmaster General in 1889, he began the first penny savings bank in order to encourage thrift. That same year, he was appointed U.S. Postmaster General by President Benjamin Harrison. He was accused by the newspapers of the day of buying the Post. Wanamaker was credited by his friends with introducing the first commemorative stamp and many efficiencies in the Postal Service. He was first to make plans for a free rural postal service in the United States, although the plan was not implemented until 1896. Um, in 1890, Wanamaker persuaded Congress to pass an act prohibiting the sale of lottery tickets through the mail, and then he aggressively pursued violators. Those actions effectively ended all state lotteries in the U.S. until they reappeared in 1964, partly as an effort to undermine organized crime. So, if you want to understand why we had issues with the lottery being in states, there you go, John Wanamaker, one of the initial reasons for that going away. Um, it also says his tenure at post office was riddled with controversy, including the firing of some 30,000 postal workers under the then common spoil system during his 4-year term, which caused severe confusion, inefficiency, and a run-in with civil service crusader Theodore Roosevelt, a fellow Republican. Um, so it's just kind of interesting. Um, if you don't know, in reference, the spoil system in politics and government, also known as the patronage system, is a practice in which a political party, after winning an election, gives government civil service jobs to its supporters, friends, and relatives. Um, blah blah blah. So when you think about today's politics, whether it's Bush, Obama, Trump, whoever it is, we still play the spoil system game. And that, well, not just him, that's been going on for a long time. So anyway, I'm gonna get past this. So once again, another little good background, and like I said, it's Wikipedia, so I know it's not always 100%. I'm not doing, like I said, I'm not doing deep um, academic research on this um, on the fly. If I did this prior to, maybe I would have some, maybe different resources for that. Just going with the quick one. Um, that's why the comment sections are there to kind of, look into all that. But, the one thing I learned in my, uh, with my history classes and research and all that kind of stuff is, although Wikipedia is not a academic um, searching facilitator, doesn't, you can't use it like that. It can lead you to the sources you could use. So don't forget about that. Anybody who later watches this entire thing, um, if you're doing research, sometimes it's actually pretty good to start at Wikipedia because you have to post your resources, or you need to, and a lot of people do. So you can go back and look at those and see if whether they're honest or not honest, or whether they're from organizations or just from somebody, um, I guess, ranting or going on a spiel during Civilization 6. This is pretty specific that, so I'm going to choose my next civic. I'm actually going to do recorded history. That's on my sciences. So I click that finally. After several tries. Excuse me, unit needs a builder. Unit needs orders. Woo. And I'm going to go over here. I'm sorry, I think in the past video and this video, you might hear sort of a weird glitch in the sound. It's actually me turning off my mic, whether I need to, you know, cough or burp or choke or something. So I'm going to send him over to my iron resource. I have one here. I just don't have enough money to open that up for him, or I guess there's not enough space. But anyway, next turn, the government plaza will be built.
May I suggest that we construct a government building to memorialize and strengthen our current government?
We may, advisor, but right now I'm going to do this. I'm going to post settler. I need to expand, so I governor title. Um, so I have those two. I haven't built a new city yet, but what you can do, so the diplomat, I can appoint. I can actually appoint a governor to Buenos Aires. In 5 terms, for 5 turns, they will be there, and maybe actually help settle them down. Next turn. Only crappy thing is I'm about to build a new city. You could use it, but for now we're good. The unit needs orders, so I'm going to build a farm, just a regular farm. The improvement has one plus food and provides half a house. You have to build farms. You need food production, not just resource production, and that helps the cities grow. So, there's a reference. And I think I'm going to play on it a few more turns. Maybe get to. And we'll see how this goes. Maybe when I get to the new settler, new founding of the city, that's where I'm going to stop. So we'll get to that point and see how that goes. Um, Probably got to build another farm here, and you can destroy these improvements and things like that. I mean, you don't have to necessarily keep them. Um, Sometimes obviously the regular farms compared to the farm you can build where the wheat is, um, don't do as much, but it's still nice to
Everything
have
has
it.
its limit. Iron ore cannot be educated into gold.
So obviously that's a quote from Mark Twain, and like I said, Mark Twain's very well known, so there's not much to, add onto it. Like I didn't really add anything to William Shakespeare. The only thing that's kind of cool for me about Mark Twain, of course, his name is Samuel Clemens. Writer of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. Um, he was born November 30th, 1835, died April 21st, 1910. Um, and from the common, I guess it's common knowledge, he was born when Halley's Comet was first found or coming, and then died on the arrival of the Halley's Comet again. So, which he predicted he would go out with it. So that's one of the cool little neat blurbs of Mark Twain. Um, I have tried to read Huckleberry Finn. I haven't read Tom Sawyer. It's not hard to read by any stretch of the imagination, but it really didn't catch my imagination when I was reading it. But I'd like to go back and try it again. Um, and see what I think now. So choose my next research. I just got horseback riding. Might as well go ahead and get that. The unit needs orders. So I'm going to do this one first, I guess. So I'm going to build my iron mine and build my farm. And that's going to be his last build, which may or may not last, but we'll see. And then we'll next turn it. I don't know why somebody won't go away, but they don't. So unit needs a new order. He has one more build. So I'm going to actually, I'll use it on a farm. We'll come over here and use it on a stone quarry for elites because they're losing housing, insufficient housing. It's nighttime here in the world, both in the game and behind the camera. That doesn't exist here. So then one more next turn. And I have built my settler. I'm going to send him down here. I need a coastal city. See the next production for them. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to build my shrine in my religious district, and I'm going to build my quarry. That'll be his last build. Another thing I might do, I got 90 gold, might as well build it. That'll officially connect my two pieces of land together rather than just by road. next turn. Usually I don't wait so long to build another city. Usually settlers are some of the first things I'm uh, crazy on building. So I'm going to build, since I have a governor heading there and I have loyalty, I'm going to build a trading route to Buenos Aires, which should actually in turn build trading routes between a couple other ones. So
No hour of life is wasted that is spent in the saddle.
and of course that is Winston Churchill, also someone who doesn't need any introduction to even the basic knowers of history, but we'll do a little bit of back thinking. Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, born November 30th, 1874, died January 24th, 1965. Of course, was a British politician, army officer, and writer. Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955. Um, so obviously, we all know him from World War II. We know much about him. If you've seen the recent movie, The Darkest Hour, which was amazing, you get a little background on that kind of early beginning with Churchill during the beginning of World War II. Um, but his military service is something I don't know much about. He served in the British Army and the Territorial Army. Years of service: 1895 to 1900, 1900 to 1924. Um, he commanded the 6th Battalion, Royal Scots Fusiliers, battles war, either the Manhattan War, the Second Boer War, and the First World War. Born in Oxfordshire to an aristocratic family. Um, so that's a little bit of just random information about what's the Churchill. I mean, there's so much on them. You don't really need me to go through it, but because I've been doing it with mostly everybody else, I should try to keep up with the um, with the habit. I think that's the wisest choice. So my next research that I will choose Celestial Navigating. Next turn. So yeah, so one of the things I usually have early on uh, as a seaside city. Um, have to have one. Have to have one. So I found that Stoke upon Trent. Usually you get the names of these cities, so now it's kind of automatic. Stoke upon Trent. Um, it's certainly not a seaside city. If you, if you need to know, um, by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually a city in central England. Um, it's probably not too far away from a coast, which if anything is, but it's certainly not on the coast. Um, Stoke-upon-Trent, commonly called Stoke, is a component town of the city of Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire, England. Um, the town was incorporated as a municipal borough in 1874 and is one of 6 that federated to form the county borough of Stoke-on-Trent in 1910, along with Hanley, Tunstall, Burslem, Longton, and Fenton. It is the seat of the city council, though Stoke-on-Trent city centre is usually regarded as being the nearby town of Hanley, which, since Federation, has been the most commercially important of 6 towns. And that's from Wikipedia. On April 1st, 1910, the town was federated into the county borough of Stoke-on-Trent. So that's sort of it. It's also, if I haven't said before, known for its pottery industry. The Potteries Museum and Art Gallery displays locally made ceramics, decorative arts, and a World War II Spitfire. The Gladstone Pottery Museum is in a former Victorian factory. The Trentham Estate has landscaped Italian gardens and a forest with monkeys. From Westport Lake, the Heritage Canoe Trail follows canals east to Frog Hall Wharf, and that's a Google overview. So, just a little bit about Stoke-upon-Trent, or Stoke-on-Trent. Whatever don't ask me, I don't know what to call it. I'm from the United States. Uh, so that is where I'm gonna choose my production, so you can see where the next things are. So in London, I will build. My next thing will be a temple in my Holy District. Next action for Leeds. Um, I'll go ahead and I think I'll build another settler. And then choose a production for my new city, Stoke-upon-Trent. Once again, one of those things you gotta have to do. They start off with crappy turn times, and then you hope they get better over time, which they usually do, especially if they're connected on land like this, connected near each other. I'll build the monument first, and we'll do one more turn. And look at the history roll here. Um, 650 BC visitors complain about the heat of Stoke-upon-Trent, but at least it's a dry heat, and that is where I'm going to end this recording and hopefully upload it in a couple of days. Um, when I get the time to go through it. But yeah, so that's the way it is in the United States. I live in South Carolina. Um, it's hot, it's humid, but you hear people who come from, say, Arizona, Mexico, even Texas, and they're like, at least back there, that's a dry heat, and I think that's my best Texas voice. Because I don't think anybody from Arizona or New Mexico talks like that. So that is the end of this recording. Sorry for anybody I might have offended with the Southern voice. Look, I was born in Mississippi, raised in Tennessee and South Carolina. Give me a break. Um, and that's how we're going to end it tonight. I have my three cities at 625 BC. I'm closing in on 100 turns, and kind of establish myself in this wide world. You look at the map down here. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. I don't think so. Um, but that is it. Thank you for anyone who watches this, watches posted, and afterwards. I really appreciate the views, and like I said, please leave comments. Please leave any information you know that I can learn from, sources that you know. Um, and that'll be really exciting to get people involved, um, and to kind of continue to spread this stuff, because to me it's just fun. So once again, thank you very much. This is Tyler from Tyler Revolution on YouTube. I put the Tyler in Revolution. That's not a saying. I'm just being weird. Uh, thank you so much.